Your Mama's Book Club, which is just saying, look, man, hey, I picture a book club, right? My grandmother sitting around doing book club together. And if my grandmother's watching, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, grandmama. But what I'm saying, it will be the same time. But next week, if you have purchased the book, and I'm sure all you guys have purchased the book, and if you haven't, here's your last chance, because starting next week, that will be, there you go. Look at all those people with that book. Good. Doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it look good? And I really believe, just to be honest with you, I've been reading the book since last week. It is easily the best book I've ever written. And the difference is, a lot of the other books I pumped out in a very short period of time. This book, I really slowed down and spent 2 years writing, wrote the whole thing, went back and reworked it. And Cal Newport would call that deep work. Very few people do the deep work, which is to kind of go into the woods, spend a lot of time marinating on it, testing the ideas, great editing. And so the book is significantly, but there's a very consistent through line to the book. And the through line is nothing happens until the prey drive is activated. And I pretty much have attacked prey drive every which way you can imagine, right? Why do you lose it? So today we're going to be talking about the concept of how do you take an ambition and see that ambition through to its conclusion. Okay. How do you take an ambition? And I see some new people here. So it's good to see everybody. We're attracting new people. You don't need more money. You need more people, folks. You need more people. And last night I was rereading the book in the beginning of the book, and it's really talking about what the purpose of the book is. And it really says, one of the purposes of the book is to help you take an ambition and see that ambition all the way through to its conclusion. Okay. Now, how many dreams have you had in your life that you did not see through to its conclusion? How many goals did you have in life that you didn't see through? See, one of my goals was to be on big stages. On Friday, I'm speaking to 12,000 people at Lone Depot Stadium. One of my dreams was to speak on some of the biggest stages in the world. Okay. One of my dreams was to build a greatness factory and to scale that concept. One of my big dreams was to ultimately, and remember when I tell you this, because you guys can say you heard it from me, is to have physical success schools, where kids will go to school at success school. Does everybody see that? Okay, right now it's online, but every time I do something in the education space, I'm like, man, eventually we're going to keep going till this is a physical school that people go to. Okay, and they get their core things that they need, but they also have courses in grit, resilience, bounce back, communication, talents. I mean, who wouldn't want their kid to go there? Right, Rudy Campos? I would want my kid to go there. And so what happens is prey drive is an instinct. Okay. It's like, Gladwell called it a blink, right? I coached the CEO for a period of time, and we would get in these meetings with the founder of the company, Brian Brown, and we'd be sitting there talking about something, and the CEO would just look at the owner and go blink. And what she was saying is, what's your first instinct? Me and Craig went through this morning on our offer. It's like, all right, what's your instinct telling you to do? And I believe that instinct is inside of you. And many times when you go, you hear it called a gut instinct, but it actually is an instinct. It's an instinct in your heart and in your mind and in your intuition. And here's the deal. So we have instincts all the time to do something. But then what happens is we have fear, doubt, worry, anxiety. And a long time ago, I heard TD Jakes talk about this, is he had this dream of taking his play to a movie. And he went and sat down with the gentleman, and he said, what are you trying to do? And he said, man, I'm trying to take this. I would love to take this to a play, but it's very expensive to make a movie, and I just can't do it. And this guy told him, and he said, man, is that all? That's the only problem you got's the money? He said, yeah, man, I don't have the money. He said, well, the money is the easy part. We'll get the money. Okay. And that gentleman was Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry told TD Jakes, don't worry about the money. That's the easy part. See, TD Jakes said, I can't do it because it's really expensive and we don't have the money. Tyler Perry said, well, that's the easiest part that you can get is the money. Right. It's kind of like when I was watching the George Jones and Tammy Wynette Showtime, when they married, George Jones if you don't know this, he sold everything he had to marry her. He gave up his record deal. He gave up his houses. He gave up to get out of a record deal to be able to sing with her. He gave up everything. And he bought this old crappy house out in Tennessee. And she's in the movie. She's like, I can't believe you gave up everything. I can't believe we're broke. And he says that the easiest thing to do besides losing money is actually making money, right? All I got to do is go out and sing to make money. Okay. And so it's one of these moments in life where we have these. So what I want to talk about is what prohibits us from taking an idea and seeing it through to its conclusion. So I was out walking in Miami today. I'm in this, 39th floor overlooking the water, and it's beautiful. Every time I come to Miami, I want a place in Miami. Okay. Every time. And if you go down by the boat where the yachts are, you really want a place in Miami. And it's like, now that's cool. And I told my wife, I said, every time I come down there, I call her and I say, we're going to have a place in Miami. Okay. Sunny, beautiful, energy, high rises, and ocean. I'm like, man, how could you not do this? And she's like, yeah. I know. Every time you go down there, you want one. I'm like, no. I want you to hear what I'm telling you. We're going to have a place in Miami. Okay. So here's the deal. What stopped people from doing it? So the brain has three abilities. I want you to think of these three abilities. Number one, the brain does have a vision when you tell it what you want it to do, and that actually activates the subconscious mind. That's why the B is so important. Now, how big your B is in the book, it's called A to B. There's exercises. I've already done them in the book. I've done them myself. And so I say, okay, if your B is very small, then you don't really get excited. See, having a place in Miami gives me something to work toward, gives me something to push toward, gives me a new arena of people, gives me, right? I love that the space. What it does is if you got small vision, you take very small actions. So the first thing you do is the brain has a vision. This is what I would like to do. Okay. Now, what's the very first thing, Josh Gray, that the brain tells you after you have the vision? Any guesses? Your own brain, the same brain that came up with the vision, tells you what? Any guesses?
The reason why not?
Yeah. The brain will tell you all, now you came up with the vision, but it'll actually tell you all the reasons why you can't. And it'll start telling you it'll be too hard, it'll take too long, it'll cost too much. That's not for me. It's actually called the second brain ability. And the second brain ability actually kicks in, Ann Bernardino, and says, you can't do this, man. That ain't for you. You'll be a good real estate agent, Angela, but you'll never be a top agent. Or Alexander, you'll be good this, but you'll never be that. Or Johnny Sheehan, you can be this, but you'll never be that. See, and most people, this was me for a season of my life, stop right there when they have that resistance. This was me early on when I said, I'll be a great coach, but I'll never be a championship coach. Everybody see that? I'll be a millionaire, but I'll never be a multimillionaire. I'll be this, but I'll never be that. I'll be a good author, but I'll never be a best-selling author. I'll be a good entrepreneur, but I'll never be one of them crazy entrepreneurs. See, the brain actually talks you out of the vision that you have. Okay. And what big time people do is they fight through that and they get to the third brain ability, which is actual execution of an idea to its conclusion. Now, here's the difference. Let's say I'm talking to people tonight in Miami and there's a meet and greet. Here's how I know within the first few minutes what kind of person I'm dealing with. Small-minded people get together and talk about other people. That's the first thing people do. The next level up gets together and talk about events. They talk about events, something that happened in the past. Okay, this keeps you small. Big time people get together and talk about ideas. But real big time people get together and talk about execution of ideas. They get into action, right? So so how do you see an idea through to its conclusion? Because I had a dream of a greatness factory in 2016. That's when the vision came to me for a greatness factory. We are just now in 2023 building a greatness factory. And it took longer than I thought it, and it cost a lot more than I thought. And it's been a lot harder than I thought. Does everybody see that? Okay. So when you think about this, it took longer than I thought. It cost more than I thought. But once we have that greatness factory up and going, it all started in my mind, by the way, and a piece of paper. Started in my mind, a piece of paper. So when I go to a restaurant, I was downstairs eating lunch and I didn't have my notepad a minute ago because I was out exercising. And I told the server, I said, can you give me a napkin and a pen to write with? And I literally just sit there and draw up. Okay, these are big level 10 opportunities. I got to get this greatness factory done. I need to rent the lodge. I need to keep going on this book, flip the switch. I need to convert on this. I need to do this. And what I'm doing is I'm constantly telling my brain, this is what you got to do. And I'm going to see this through to its conclusion, which is the persistence and the intensity. Okay, so I want you to think about yourself right now. And I want you to just ask yourself, where do you struggle here? Number one, do I struggle with the activation? Do I struggle with the persistence? Or do I struggle with the intensity? Okay. And how do I get up every day and move toward this vision of manifesting that vision? And when things come up that don't fit, how do I deal with that? How do I deal with that? How do I deal with that adversity? Okay. So what I do is I give the adversity a name. It's a departure away from the ideal scene. It's a departure away. I had a vision in my mind of how it's going to go. It didn't go that way. Now what? It's not happening to me. It's happening for me. Not why me. What's this trying to teach me? I quickly move out of a victim mindset into, okay, what is this trying to teach me? Okay. The real thing I've learned by launching this book, just so you guys know, is you really need to become real known in the world. And the more known you are, it's much easier to get people to buy the book. If 10 million people know you, right, Pastor Kim, 10 million people know, it's much easier to get people to buy the book than giving away coaching and all these other things you got to incentivize. I'm having to do that because I'm not as well known in the world yet. Okay. Although a dude did recognize me when I was exercising. Now, here's my point. It's like, how do I go out there and be known to 700 million people? Okay. So when you think about this concept, I want you to type in the chat box. When it comes to your visions, what do you really think keeps you from manifesting that vision? Okay. Because we're big who, not how people. I believe when you don't know how to do something, you don't get caught up in the mechanics of it. You start asking who can help me? Who can help me do this? Who knows how to do this? Okay. I was thinking about this offer that I'm going to make it family first. This thing I'm going to make it family first. See, in the old days, I didn't know how to make an offer. How many of you, anybody see me speak at 10X in 2018? I spoke at 10X in 2018. I had 10,000 people and I coached for 49 minutes and then made an offer in 1 minute. I had no idea what I was doing when I made an offer. Okay. And so we did $250,000 in 50 minutes. But if I would have known how to make an offer correctly, and I had been coached on that, then maybe would have done $1 million in 50 minutes, which is what I learned. So now it's totally different in how I approach this. So when you see this, Earl said lack of focus, because when I wrote down my notes on this, Travis Welch, I wrote down distractions is what keeps people from moving from to their vision. I asked Tim Grover, he and I become real good friends. And by the way, of all the famous people you would know, the one who's checked on me the most on this book launch has been Tim Grover. So I want to give him a heads up. He wrote Relentless. He wrote Winning. He's checked in on me almost every night. How's it going? How's the book sales? How can I help you? And man, I don't forget stuff like that. Okay. And he knows how to build advocacy with people. He really does. So when you think about this, I asked him once, did the great NBA players you coach ever lose their confidence? And you know what he said? Never. Not one time. No matter if they got beat, they had a concept of themselves that could not be broken. Here's what he did say, JC. They did lose their focus. He said they got distracted. They got distracted. He didn't tell me how they got distracted. Okay, but that would mean, they got involved in this or this or this, and they didn't have a laser-like focus on moving from here to there. They're still great, but he said they never lost their confidence, but they did get distracted. And the word distract means to pull apart. Where I get distracted is so many projects going on at one time, trying to keep a singular focus. That's why I constantly write it up. That's why you need to be writing it up every day. These are my level 10 opportunities. Okay. These are the greatest opportunities available to me right now. Okay. And you don't need more than 3 or 4. People try to get me involved in all kinds of things all the time. And sometimes I go, yes. And then I go, why did I do that? Because what's the difference between obligation and commitment? When I'm obligated to something, my heart's not involved. When I'm committed to something, my whole self is involved. Body, mind, heart, and spirit. I'm totally 100% focused. Like what you see me on this book launch. Okay. A few times I got discouraged, but most time it's every day, man. It is every freaking day. And Craig said, if there's anything we've taught people, it's how to do exactly what we teach people to do, which is wake up and just pursue it, man. Whether you get it or not, you just pursue it with an intensity. And then you can go to bed at night going, man, listen, I hit it as hard as I could hit it. And if something doesn't work, it's not a lack of effort. Okay. So there's always things you can do. There's always relationships. There's always second guessing. There's always, there's always Monday morning quarterbacks. But at the end of the day, what are your level 10 opportunities right now? This is the greatest opportunities available to you that move you closer to your B. Right, David Speck? David was the first person to get the book Flip the Switch on planet Earth. He got his 3 days before everybody else did. I don't know what he did, but he did. So what is the greatest opportunity? I call that my level 10s, and you don't need more than 3 to 5 at one time. The second thing is, who are your Blue Marlin relationships? Who can help you? Who can help you move toward your B? Okay. All right. I'm going to be on stage at 12,000 people through relationships. People ask me, how did you get on stage? How do you get on stage at these things? Through relationships. The key to the many is to the one. And I build great relationships with key people, and I nurture those relationships, and I add value to those relationships. And then those people connect me to new opportunity, and we call those new associations. And you don't need more money, you need more people. Okay. So at the end of the day, this is where focus comes from. Now, when you set a vision and you move toward that vision with intensity and persistence, then what happens is along the way, you have big revelations. See, through this process, I already know what my next book's probably going to be from working on this book for so long. And what I'm doing is I'm watching and I'm going, where's the big problem that people can solve, that I can solve? What would people pay money for them to solve? Right. What I've also learned is how to generate thousands of leads. The book launch, Craig will tell you, probably generated 5,000 leads for our business. And it's up to us to convert those leads. How many of you would take 5,000 leads over a 4-month cycle? All of us would. So the book has generated enthusiasm, energy, new relationship, new leads. So what I did is I set a target, and I work with the persistence and intensity toward the target. I wake up every day and I try to stay focused and not get distracted by all the things you can get distracted. Now, let me tell you one of the number one things people get distracted away from: prospecting. All right. It's easy for me to say, man, I'm in Miami. I don't need to prospect. I want to go outside. It's beautiful. Go down to the water. Like, it's easy for me to say that, but that doesn't help my business today. What helps my business is me following up with people, sending videos to people, staying in people's faces, texting people. What's the value of a lead, Brian Brown, if nobody follows up with it appropriately? It's not valuable. So you generate 5,000 leads, but if nobody's calling people, nobody's following up with people, nobody's seeing it through to its conclusion, then it doesn't matter. Okay. It doesn't matter if you have 100,000 leads. Okay. So my goal for you today is really to get you to think about, what are your big ambitions? Mine's to build greatness factories. It's probably to raise capital pretty soon. I'm working on a concept called Blue Marlin Capital, where I would go out and raise capital and put that capital either into greatness factories or real estate deals I'd like to get into some venture coaching where I take on companies to try to help those companies grow with a percentage of the upside with my skill set. And I got a couple other people that are interested. I'm going to talk big time people like Jay Abraham, Chuck McDowell. We're talking about doing some venture coaching, which means we would get involved in businesses and help those businesses grow because we each have different skill sets. Also success schools. I'm seeing a tremendous opportunity with the success schools. Tremendous opportunity with getting in there and redefining the way young people are educated. So these are big. Jim Collins called them big, hairy, audacious goals. Right? They're big. They ain't easy. But man, when I wake up in the morning, like, now this is exciting. Pursuing this is exciting. Okay. Pursuing something small, that ain't exciting. Pursuing something big. So we got to tackle big, juicy problems because that's where the money is. Money follows problems. The bigger the problem, the more money people pay. You could go down here right now, here, guys, on the water, and just look at these multi-million-dollar yachts. They're everywhere. It's not like there's one down there. They're literally everywhere. They just built this place right here, the Aston Martin building, and they just put a helipad up there so you can land in your helicopter. You can land in your own helicopter on the roof and go to your house. Isn't that crazy? And they just approved. I'm sitting here looking at it right now. It's an incredibly cool building. Look, and it's full. They told me they had pre-sold 96% of the units in that building before it was even built. Isn't that crazy? And it's like, then there's one right beside it. You know, Pastor Ken, you live down in this area. Okay, they're everywhere. It's everywhere. Everywhere you go, there's opportunity. So I think a big mistake we make is, man, it's hard. That's a sewer cycle. It's going to be hard. Nobody's buying my product or service. It's a bad economy. Listen, you could tell yourself that all day long. Somehow 12,000 people figured out how to get to Miami for this Family First conference. That's 12,000 people figured out how to get down here if we're in such a bad economy. Didn't it cost money for flights, hotels, food? So do you tell me whatever you want to that we're in a recession and it's hard? Maybe we are, but does that mean there's no opportunity? No, that does not mean there's any opportunity. I went downstairs today. They were having a conference here, and I was trying to see what speaker they were bringing in, and I bet they spent 50 grand or more on the conference, just on the room for the conference. So it's everywhere. It's literally everywhere, guys. Okay. So I want you to leave this call today. I'll take a few questions and ask yourself, number one, what are your big ambitions and do they even excite you? Because if you've lost your prey drive, it's a good chance you've lost it because you got a small B and you're just kind of trying to go through the motions, man. You're just going through the motions and you're not pushing something. You're not fighting for something. Your heart's not involved. You're obligated, but you ain't committed. And that is a big, big difference between these two things. Okay. So what questions do you have, guys? This has been fun, man. You guys be showing up every week. Now, remember, we're going to keep going next week. It's my way of giving back. So if you bought the book, you're going to get the book club. We're going to go 8 weeks in that book club. And we're going to be giving you some more things too. So Craig, what you got?
Let me jump in. I've received messages from some of y'all that bought the book and saw like a text message from me, and then they're like, "Hey, I don't have any more information." Two reasons: you either requested to not see our emails, or it's in your spam. Multiple people have emailed me, and I was like, "Hey, check your spam," and sure thing, it was there. So if you see a message saying something's coming out, just do me the favor before you message me, go look. It's likely going to be there, but if in the event that it's really, really not, you can't find it anywhere, just shoot me a message, Craig at Coach Burt. I put together a drive folder that kind of has all the assets, images you could share, places to go, registration for the book club, and everything else, the manuscript and all. So what I'm looking for out of the team, if you'd like to help, if you bought the book online, Amazon, Barnes and Noble's, Books A Million, go on to that platform where you bought it, make sure you're signed in, and leave a testimonial. Doesn't mean that you read the book yet, but you could leave a testimonial of the author or of what you know to be true, and you can come back and update that later on. But that's going to help push the algorithm and different things. We're right there fighting. I can tell you right now, yesterday we hit the bestseller list for 2 of them, but it's a full week, and there's some technicalities going on. We're just not sure if we're going to land if it's a Friday to Friday deal or if it's going to be Tuesday to Tuesday. But anything you guys could do can help. You guys have been great so far. The community has been awesome. You can see the testament to Coach's ability to come in here and get you guys going. If you're going to listen to the audio, I'm sorry. Okay. Coach and I literally sent a jab over to the publisher this morning saying that they really need to update that audio because it loses the whole rhythm of the book. And so we're seeing if we can get that updated. If not, maybe Coach and I will come up with a plan B for that. So if you're a listener like I do to books, I'm sorry. Coach didn't approve that. That was something, it was out of his control. But anything else, y'all, let me know. Craig at Coach Burt, I'll be happy to help you in any single way. But yeah, this Parade Drive for Lunch is ending. This is the last one for now anyway, with the 8-week coaching cycle going through the book with the Not Your Mama's Book Club. So
yeah, just now, here's what we did, guys, just so you know, we sold out of Amazon. Okay, so if you go there right now, it says temporarily out of stock, and that ain't a bad thing. That means we moved thousands of units, but we printed a lot of units. So what's happening is the publisher is now having to ship those to Amazon's warehouses around the country. So that shouldn't deter anybody from buying the book. It's just you can still get it at Amazon. They will be back up and back in stock within the next couple of days. But Barnes and Nobles has it. I'm actually going over to Barnes and Nobles here in Miami and sign copies today in the bookstore. It's in certain bookstores around the country. But we really need that review. So if you want to help us, I can tell you it's my best book. I've gotten value out of it, and I've written it. So that is very important, is that you go and just give a review on Amazon. Where you purchase the book, you just give a review there. Okay. This is all a big game, guys. It's all a big game. And what Craig's saying there on that, the publisher chose the person that read the book. Okay. I didn't have any say over it. We think the guy's a little bit of a beta, and he's low key, and he's trying to read a book on Parade Drive. And I'm like, oh my goodness, but we'll figure it out. Okay. So it's all the same content. It's just a different dude reading it, and it ain't me, and he don't have my energy. So my agent's fighting with my publisher, and they're trying to figure out how we can solve that, because I wasn't crazy about it, but it's still the good content. Okay. So thank you, guys. Any questions for me today before we jump off? No, we got about 3 or 4 minutes. I did a master class on it, Tim. I've done, I may come back and just do something on I can't go back and do another Audible under my contract, because I do have a contract and I can't break that contract. So I don't know what we'll do. I know my agent is working on it today with the publisher on how we can improve the audio, just because I wasn't crazy about it. But you may listen to it and like it. It's just not me reading it. Okay. But I didn't make that decision. Maybe they didn't like my Southern accent, so they chose somebody else to read it who was more professional than me. Angela, what's your question?
Coach, it is not bad with the audio book. It's just definitely not you. I would have loved to have heard your voice on there. Yep. But my question, and probably just very quickly, do you know how and when they're going to ship the 250? I just want to make sure, we got the event coming up at the end of February.
Great. Craig can check on that.
Let me look. I could
some of the 250s. Some of the 250s have been shipped. So check on that, because her event is coming up.
Yeah. Let me look.
Thanks.
Into February. Yep. Okay. All right. Rudy Campos. All right. Good. Rudy, what's the best? Email me, Rudy, at coach@coachburt.com, and we'll get you on the phone with one of our experts. Okay. We'd love to talk to you about the coaching.
Angela, your books are not shipped yet that I could see. Some of them are. Just your big order is not. 231. You gave us the other list. So the 231, it looks like it's held. Possibly going to go today or next week. But you should definitely have it. When's your event?
28th.
February 28th.
You'll have it by then.
Yep. You should have it by then, for sure.
Perfect.
Okay. Pastor Ken, what you got? There's my Miami brother. Unmute yourself there, big guy. I see you talking, but I can't hear you.
I'm unmuted now. Sorry.
There you go.
Thanks for everything you're doing. You've helped me tremendously in all areas of my life. You're down at the Family First Conference. Is there a way I can come see you on Friday?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Craig is going to be flying down tonight, and we'll see if we can get you in there. I don't know. I know it is I don't think it's a pay. I think it is a free event to the agents. I don't know. Craig can probably talk to the team and see if we can get you in there.
Yeah, Ken, I got a liaison in the company that I'm working back and forth, and I'll get you a message this evening and let you know the status.
Thank you, Craig. Appreciate it. Thank you for all that you guys are doing. And I'll be putting a review out. Thanks for
If we
everything.
get you in there, we may put you to work selling some books in there.
I'm ready. I'll help you make some packets. It's not my first rodeo.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Any other questions today?
Craig, I
Alright.
just sent you a message.
Who's that?
Okay. All right. Super.
Hello?
Thank you very much.
All right, cool.
All right. Okay, guys, when you get those books, take a picture of them. Thank you, Amber Nardino. Loved being
Hey,
at your
Coach.
the other day. Yes.
Coach, when you coming to Virginia again?
I'm coming to Virginia February 28th. And I'm going to
28th.
be Angela Baker. Can you tell them where I'm going to be that day?
Yeah, you're going to be at the Army Navy Country Club from 9 to 12 noon. So is that Earl? Earl, go ahead. If you can put your email in the chat, I'll send you the link.
Okay, great, great. We'll do that. You want me to send it directly to you? What's your? Okay, Angela. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the name of the big audacious book was Jim Collins talked about this in Good to Great. He talked about having big, hairy, audacious goals. He called them BHAGs. And that's really what we're talking about today. Big ambitions, backed up by actions, consistent actions. And okay, Craig, make sure you grab that email address there from Rudy Campos as well, so we can talk to him about coaching.
Gotcha.
It is
I also
bittersweet.
missed the call from yesterday. I just wanted to catch up on everything.
Yeah, it's in the Drive folder, I believe. I think I put it there. If you open up, there's a Google Drive, just like a Word doc, and I put kind of like the meeting that we had yesterday, the link to the registration for the 8-week book club, the manuscript. It's all right there. So the OneDrive folder has it. Is that Earl? I can.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, I'll look for it. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thank you,
guys.
Coach.
Thank you guys for showing up every week. It is a sad day, Tim Nelson. No Pray Drive for Lunch is ending and Tom Brady retired. Only to sign a $375 million contract for 10 years. So I don't, he made $333 million his whole time in the NFL, and he just signed a $375 million contract over 10 years. So I think he's going to be just fine. All right. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Rudy will be reaching out to you. Rudy Campos. Craig's getting your information.
Thank you.
Okay. And then there's
Hang on,
one more,
Coach,
Ramina.
just grab
Greg,
these.
are you getting that?
I'm
Ramina?
trying. Give me a second. Let me just copy these out.
Yeah, I want to end it out for a second.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, I'll get back to you guys.
Okay.
Alright.
I'm sorry to interrupting. So the email that we got for like the top secret documents, whatever, like when I go to the drive, that's where I see also for the 8 weeks.
Yep.
Yes. That's
There's
first.
a registration link right inside. There's a Google Drive folder that's right there inside.
Yeah,
Open it, and it should have a registration to.
to the shareable assets under the shareable assets thing.
Yep.
Okay.
It should say info. Let me actually open it. I'll tell you exactly what it says. It says general info and book feedback. So if you open that one, that has like 3 different links.
Oh
in it.
yeah, yeah, got it. All right. Thank you.
Also, Coach, thank you for next week, but I'm coming in person. So I just want to make you aware. I'm just waiting for a response from Eric.
Okay, super. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you. All right. Love you guys. Make it a great day.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.